And welcome back to the Crystal Keepers. Chapter 2 An Unlikely Thief. Veronica threw the coil of rope to the grass, bringing the crossbow, into her hands. She pressed the stock back against her shoulder, grunting and stumbling from the weight as she raised it up. She aimed high, high enough to reach the top. With a squeeze, a deep thrum sounded, and the hook went sailing into the stars, rope twirling within its wake. The metallic fingers surged to the edge of Maney's window, hundreds of feet above the ground, and grabbed the iron bar below the shutters with a solid clang of metal. Veronica grabbed the rope and gave a firm tug to be sure the hook was secure. It didn't move an inch. She smiled, feeling proud of herself. Everything was going perfectly. No one even knew she was in the city, and if she was lucky, no one ever would, not even Maney. She grabbed the rope and climbed. She thinks she's so perfect, Veronica muttered under her breath. She gets a tower all to herself. I'll show everyone just how useless she really is. The effort to climb the rope was immense. By the time Veronica arrived at the top, she was sweaty and gasping for air. She clutched the iron bar below Maney's window and pulled herself up until she could reach the stained glass. It was already unlocked, cracked open even. Could this plan go any better? Veronica pulled on the window until one side was completely open. She quickly saw her target, Maney, asleep in her canopy bed, tucked beneath red blankets, and she was holding the necklace rather than wearing it. When Veronica saw the blue crystal, she almost gasped. Her heart seemed to stop beating for a moment. It was surreal to think that this was really going to work. Soon she'd be the one to wield the power. She'd be the one to decide Talmoria's fate. Veronica climbed inside, careful not to make a sound. She hardly breathed. She was so nervous. She quickly went to the fireplace and set 2 keys on Maney's mantle, between her books and the 3 empty jars. This way, at least Maney could escape when she did wake up, before the king's anger could rear its head. It'll be easier this way, Veronica told herself. She then turned and approached Maney's bed. When she came within reach of Mikhail's crystal, her heart pounded inside her chest. So slowly, as if her veins ran thick with sap, Veronica reached out and grabbed the necklace the crystal was hanging from. She pulled, gently sliding the chain through Maney's fingers until the blue rock tugged away from her grip. It fell and hung there, dancing in the air before Veronica's eyes. Scene change. Maney dreamed of birds being blown in a windstorm as lightning and thunder flashed and quaked the air around them. When she felt the sensation of a chain sliding between her fingers, she instantly woke. Maney opened her eyes and saw Veronica standing right beside her bed, the last person she thought she'd ever see again. The girl was staring and smiling at a small glowing object in her hands. It was Mikhail's crystal. "What are you doing?" Maney shouted as she rose from her bed. "Veronica, you can't!" Veronica's mouth popped open and she took a step back. "Get away!" she screamed. "The crystal's mine now!" Maney could hardly believe this was real. It seemed like a dream. She reached out and caught the chain with 2 fingers and tried to yank it away, but failed. Veronica unsheathed the blade and drew the edge across Maney's arm in a quick swipe. Maney stumbled back, holding her left forearm as a line of blood and pain blurred into focus. "You cut me!" Maney gasped, her eyes widening in disbelief. Seconds ago she was dreaming about a terrible storm of fire and long tornadoes. Now she was staring at a bleeding slice in her own flesh. She looked to find Veronica and saw that the girl was already halfway through the window with Mikhail's crystal still in her hand. Maney ran after her, ignoring the sting in her forearm, and dove, reaching out at the end of her slide to grab the necklace at the last possible second. She secured a firm grip, the sharpness of the chain's links digging imprints into her skin like a row of serrated teeth. Maney could feel Veronica's descending weight pulling her body across the polished tile floor, which was now wet and slick with her own blood. The stained glass window reached all the way to the floor, and Veronica soon disappeared beyond its edge, dragging Mamie and the necklace along with her. "Veronica, stop!" Mamie screamed in desperation. "I'm the only one who can use Mikhail's crystal. Giving it to someone else isn't going to change anything." Mamie came to the edge of the window and looked down. She saw Veronica, hanging by a rope attached to a hook beneath the window. The grass was dozens of feet below them. In her other hand, Veronica was clutching the necklace with all her strength. "If that's true, then Talmoria will be destroyed no matter what happens tonight. The Grey Death must be stopped, Mamie. Everyone depends on us to do the right thing. Now let go of the crystal and let me save the future." "I can't let you have it," Mamie said in breathless frustration. What do you think's going to happen to me if I do?" "I don't care what happens to you," Veronica snapped with venomous anger. "I've had enough of everyone worrying about poor little Mamie all the time. If you try to stand in my way, I will kill you. I swear I will. Now just let go." Veronica used her grip on the rope to give a few firm tugs on the necklace with her opposite hand, but Mamie held strong, never allowing the crystal's necklace to slip an inch out of her fingers. She clutched the silver chain as if her life depended on it, which it very well might have just then, in more ways than one. "Veronica, you can't save anyone. Millie can help us find a cure. She can erase everything that's ever happened." "The only thing that needs erasing is the decision to give Mikhail's crystal to you. It should have been mine all along. And if you really think Millie is going to help the people who are enslaving Torchwings, you're insane." Mamie couldn't believe what she just heard. The Torchwings were being set free. Veronica's words were a lie. "Use the keys on your mantle," Veronica said. "Find the room marked weapon storage. It's in the basement. That's where your king keeps his pets." For a moment Mamie paused, wondering if that could be true. "No," she yelled. "You're trying to give power to the wrong person. Give me back the crystal." "I'm not giving you anything. Let go." Veronica looked enraged in a way that Mamie had never seen before. She seemed like a beast. All those years of bonding, and this was how it would end. It made Mamie feel almost as angry as Veronica was. Veronica gritted her teeth and reached towards her belt, hanging her weight by one hand in the strength of the silver chain. Mamie was pulled so far down the edge of her tower that the only thing left planted in the bedroom above was her sliding legs and waist. Mamie could feel a freezing wind soaring past her ears with a sharpened edge of cold. Darkness swelled around them, Mamie's heart pounding like a drum. Veronica wrapped her fingers around the wooden handle of her curved knife and revealed the bloody blade. She pointed the tip towards Mamie's neck and prepared a deadly strike. In that single fleeting moment, where time itself seemed halted and visible before her, Mamie saw that there was no turning back. Not for Veronica, not for herself. There truly was only one thing left she could do, even if she didn't want to do it. Mamie slipped one hand free from the chain as Veronica's knife flew upwards to stab her throat. Mamie reached down and caught the girl's wrist. With a blink and whispering thought, electricity popped through Mamie's fingers and surged directly into Veronica's veins, causing the thin girl to lose her grip on the crystal's chain. Veronica squeezed her eyes shut as a gasp of pain escaped her lips and the lightning tore through her body. The bloody knife slipped from her fingers and fell, tumbling towards the ground below. Mamie stopped her release of electric energy and let go of Veronica's wrist. She watched in horrified anticipation as Veronica fell, her clothes rippling in the thin breeze. She hoped, demanded, that her friend reach out to save her own life, but Veronica never opened her eyes. She didn't regain consciousness and never tried to grab the rope. Seconds later, without a single thing left to do, Veronica's body hit the ground. End of chapter.